I watched 31 films in the month of October, and the last time I checked, the month of October has 31 days in it, which does equate correctly to a film a day. Yes, I am unemployed. Thank you for asking. Girls, gays, and theys, and anyone else that wants to join, as long as you don't talk about the male loneliness epidemic, okay? I don't care. Welcome to my film club, and by film club, I just mean that I'm going to sit here and talk to you about the films that I watched last month, the same way I say book club, in a way that I'm just sat on my floor talking about a book that I've read, hoping to sound somewhat intelligent and comprehensible. More so. See, I didn't even know if that made the slightest bit of sense, but here we are. Welcome to another idea that I've birthed, and by birthed, I mean I've seen someone else talking about films. I love talking about films. I love Letterboxd. I love movies. I just bit my tongue. I love popcorn. So, well, then it gets stuck in your teeth, and it's a bit, But I'm here today to speak about films. I'm here today to speak about the films that I watched in October. Yes, I watched 31 films in October. I didn't actually watch a film a day. Most of the time, it was like I would watch one, and then I would go a few days without watching one, and then I would watch like 4 in a day. So I'm going to speak to you about the films that I've watched. I have written out the films that I've watched and what I've rated them. If you want to follow my Letterboxd, it is Maisie Fuller with 2 R's. Do not forget that extra R, okay? Because Maisie Fuller, just as it is, taken. Liam Neeson taken. Maisie Fuller with 2 R's? That's me, bitch. But yeah, welcome to Film Club. I'm really excited to do this. I am not excited to see how long this posture can last because I'm sat on my bed with no back support. But much ado about nothing. Okay, I've planned this video out in my head and on paper, but that never really adds up because up here, no man's land. No man's land, okay? It's kind of hard to de-jumble everything that's going on. So I've tried to put pen to paper, and I'm going to talk you through the films that I've seen. There are a few different categories, so please try your best to keep up. They are as follows: first-time watches, rewatches, biblical 5-star unspoken classic rewatches, which in that context, I don't know if unspoken makes sense, but you get the gist. And then I have my top 3 films of the month. So I was gonna do this in order of the first film I watched this month and then go from there. But I kind of thought this was more fun because obviously my unspoken biblical 5-star rewatches, they all would be in my top 3. But then my top 3 of this month are all films that I've watched for the first time. So it feels like it gives it a bit more... None of the sounds I just made matched up with the words, but it felt like it gave it a bit more zhuzh, a bit more va-va-voom, if you will. So I don't know. I'm gonna try, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. Also, I feel like it's key to note before we start, these are my top 4 favourites on Letterboxd. So if you're gonna judge me or question any of my decisions for the ratings and reviews of these films, just remember that these are my top 4 on Letterboxd, okay? So let's take it with a pinch or an absolute handful of salt. First up, I watched Him. I rated this film 2 stars. Why did I go and watch this film in the first place? Because it had Julia Fox in it, and anything that Julia Fox is in, I do want to go and see. The film is about a young quarterback who is played by Tyreek Withers, who was in The Summer I Turned Pretty. No, he wasn't. He was in I Know What You Did Last Summer, because I watched that this year as well. He is this young quarterback, and then he has an accident, and it threatens to ruin his career, so he goes off to try and turn things around. He goes and studies with his hero, this retired quarterback played by Marlon Wayans. Marlon Wayans? How do you say his name? And the film is so weird. That is the only way I can describe it. It is luckily a brief 96 minutes because I love a 90-minute or less film. I'm a big advocate for making every film 90 minutes or less. It's just, I don't know why I went to see it. I think because I have a membership at the cinema, so you pay $16.99 a month and you get as many tickets as you want free. Well, not free because you're paying $16.99, but basically there's no limit to how many films you can watch. So I am going to see any film. Literally, if it looks great, if it looks dog shit, I will go and see it because I have the membership, you know what I mean? But this film was just a bit I don't know. It was produced by Jordan Peele, who is obviously the director of Get Out, which is a great film, which I haven't seen. So I can call it a great film because I haven't seen it, but everyone says it's a great film, do you know what I mean? But, it had a lot of hype around it, and I think that Tyreek Withers is a very charismatic guy. All the videos I see of him from press, I'm like, damn, you seem funny as fuck. But I don't know, his acting was good. I feel like Julia Fox always plays characters who are very much like herself, quite deadpan, quite sarcastic. I loved her in it. She didn't play a huge role. She was in it for just towards the end. She was in it a little bit sprinkled in the middle, the second act, but the third act was when she was mainly in the film. It was just a bit weird, kind of like a fever dream of a film. I feel like someone just was I want to do this, and then they just did it. The ending as well just seemed so it was crazy. So much happened in the last act. Like, it just felt like so kind of rushed, because the whole way through I was like, something bad's gonna happen, and then it got to the end and I was like, oh, I don't really know what's going on. And then the ending, you're just sort of like, okay, well, that happened, and then it's done. Do you know what I mean? So it didn't feel great. I wouldn't rewatch it, but I did love The Lion, him with the Chalamet. Like, that is funny. I'm sorry, that is funny. So yeah. Next up, I watched Urchin. Now, this was Harris Dickinson's directorial debut. I did not like this film. I rated it 2 stars. Okay, it started out pretty okay. The film follows a homeless man, Mike. He's a rough sleeper in London. He's sort of been like going through a pretty hard time, and he wants to try and turn his life around. Get clean, get a job. It just sort of follows his story, and there's sort of like a little blip in the middle which looks like it's going to threaten all of what he's done and all the effort he's put in. And Harris Dickinson is also in it. He plays another homeless guy that he's friends with. And sometimes, you know, when the director puts himself in the film, so you're kind of a bit like, you just wanted the nachos, do you know what I mean? So it felt a bit like, oh, you know, what's going on? Something that I've been noticing that I really don't like in films is when they have a fantastic premise for a film, like the idea and the story is great, and then they just don't tell it well. I don't know if it's the direction that the film goes in. I don't know if maybe they've made changes after, but I don't like how that they've, like, it's played out. Does that make sense? So this film starts out well. I feel like Frank Delane's performance is great. It shows how awful it is for someone who's sleeping rough, trying to get enough money to find a hostel, trying to get food, trying to get clean, you know, doing all of these things. And then he sort of fucks it a bit in the middle. And then the rest of the film is kind of just like, what is going on? And it was just me and my friend Lara, best friend, and another lady sat at the end of our row. There was only 3 of us in the screen. So we were all sort of just sat there watching it. And then at the end, it really lost me because it became this sort of like psychedelic, trippy like ending. And I was just a bit like, no. No, I don't like it. And it felt quite slow, which was weird because it was only 100 minutes. So it's like, an hour and 40 minutes. Like, it wasn't long, but there was a time in the film where I looked at my phone and I was like, fuck me, it's still got like an hour to go. I felt like it missed the mark a bit for me. I don't know. I feel like it was just a bit lost on me. Also, I cannot remember the ending for the life of me. So I can't even tell you if it was a good ending. I think it was a bad ending because that's when it sort of got a bit convoluted and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, just was not a fan of it personally. Then I watched Good Fortune. Now, I wanted to watch this because I saw the trailer for it and I was like, this looks quite funny. And I loved Aziz Ansari in Parks and Recreation. Tom is one of my favourite characters from that TV show. So I was like, yes, he was directing it. I think he wrote it as well and he starred in it. So like, you know, triple threat. It had a stacked cast. It was him, Keke Palmer, Seth Rogen, and Keanu Reeves. So it was a pretty good... Oh, and Sandra Oh. You know, like, the cast was booked. And then I watched it and I was like, this shit sucks. It was so unfunny, and it was sort of like this attempt at being like, look, we're cool rich people and we know what it's like to be working class and how hard it is, and like, we feel for you and we should give workers more rights. And it was like, what the fuck? Like, no. Shut up. Basically, it follows Arj, this delivery guy, and he is sleeping in his car. He's got this degree, he can't get a job with it, he's really struggling, and he's sort of working these like temporary jobs like at an agency, and one of these jobs is to help out this really rich guy who's played by Seth Rogen called Jeff. And then his guardian angel, a guardian angel, and the guardian angel who is played by Keanu Reeves, his job is just to make sure that people don't text and drive. But then he sees that Arj is feeling down, he wants to help him, and then he swaps lives of Arj and Jeff. And then they live in each other's lives, and then it's the whole story of like, will they get each other's lives back and what will they learn and all this shit, you know? And then the whole ending is like, you should be who you want to be, whether you have money or not. And then Keke Palmer is a love interest, and let me just say, there is nothing more disappointing than when Keke Palmer, one of the most charismatic actresses I think ever, can't save a film, because her and Aziz Ansari had no chemistry. I don't know what they were thinking. The script fell flat. Like, there were a few funny lines in it, but I was like, ultimately, this just feels a bit like it must suck having no money, but you shouldn't change who you are because you are on the right path. And it's like, well, you can't tell me that because you have money, you know? I rated it 2 stars. I wasn't a big fan of it, and I was really disappointed because I was like, this cast is crazy boots, and you fucked it. I actually saw someone rate this 4.5 stars, and I wondered what screening they went into and if it was like completely different from mine, because there is not a world where I think I would rate that film 4.5 stars, but each to their own. Next, I watched Frankenstein. I feel like I am one of the very small minority that did not enjoy this film. I don't know if it was because I was so tired. We did a double bill that day of Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, and Frankenstein. And Frankenstein was the one after. This film, I think the main issue I have with it is that it was way too long. That film is 2.5 hours long. They could have easily shaved off half an hour of that. I'm not joking. And the thing is, I've heard, is that they had a whole nother part where they made a woman for the monster. And they cut that out as well, which I was like, oh, I'm so glad they did, because if that was like 4 hours, I would have clocked out. Like, I was sleeping in my seat, and it was a full screen. It was like worst nightmare. Like, there was someone sat next to me that I didn't know, and I was just there like trying not to fall asleep. Obviously, it stars Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth, Jacob Elordi as the monster, which 6 hours in that makeup chair and you can still tell it's Jacob Elordi, which I know he's got like quite a prominent face, like it's nice to look at and whatnot, but bloody hell, 6 hours and I can still tell it's him. That is crazy. Someone also said he looks like the, how do you say his name? Goyote? Goyote? I don't know. From somebody that I used to know. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I kind of see the resemblance. I don't know, maybe I'm being too critical of it. Maybe it's the fact that it was a Netflix film, but I do feel like it just missed everything for me. I know the story of Frankenstein. What? Frankenstein. I'm aware of the story. I know that Frankenstein himself is an awful person. Oscar Isaac can always eat up an English accent, which is something I was thinking about today. American people can never normally do a good British accent, but he really can. And he's gorgeous. He's lovely to look at. Love the director. Guillermo del Toro, I love his stance on AI. I think he seems like such a nice, down-to-earth guy with great ideas. And I do think maybe, I don't know, I feel like the look of the film was very, like, perfect. And I don't think that matches what the film's about. Like, it felt like it needed to be a bit darker and grittier. I don't know. I think the sets were beautiful. The costumes were amazing. But I do just feel like it was too long. And that's where it completely lost me. I don't know. Maybe I was too critical. Maybe 2 stars is too low. And if I rewatched it when I was less tired, I would rate it higher. But off of, like, first impressions, it wasn't for me. And I just feel like I'm okay with knowing that those films aren't normally for me. Like I've said, I'm a 90-minute wonder. Like, a 2.5-hour film about Frankenstein isn't going to be my bread and butter, but that's okay. Next, I watched Pineapple Express, another Seth Rogen film. Okay, I didn't realize that I was on such a Seth Rogen kick. Well, I literally watched 2 Seth Rogen films, but I watched Pineapple Express, which has got Seth Rogen and James Franco in it. Basically, this guy is a massive stoner, buys some weed. He's like a server. He like delivers I can't remember what the word is called, but like he delivers papers to people when they've been served by court. And he goes to deliver these papers after he picks up some weed, like this crazy rare strand of weed, and he sees someone getting killed. He sees a murder. He like tries to leave, and when he leaves, he flicks the blunt. Can you tell I don't smoke weed? Out of his car. And from that, they know what sort of weed it is, who the dealer was, and who buys from that dealer. You know what I mean? So then it's this whole thing of like, they're on the run. Amber Heard is in it. It's like, it's crazy. Like, it's so painfully. Is it 2009? Because it feels so painfully 2009. If it is, I'm going to be so impressed with myself. What year is it? It's 2008. So close. It just, the look of it, the outfits, the humor. It's just, it is a really odd film. And then the ending is like, it's just crazy. It's just so weird. It wasn't my sort of film. It's one of those films that you put on because it's like, oh, easy watches on Netflix. And then you watch it and you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? It also felt very long, and it's only 111 minutes, which is what, 1 hour 40. But it's because I started watching it in the lorry working with my dad. And then I got home and I was like, I should probably finish this film. And I was just sort of there like, I have no idea what's going on. And I wasn't really interested in what was going on. I was just a bit like, this shit is so weird. But it's definitely a film. And also they mentioned Jeff Goldblum so much. I do wonder what he had on them, because they were constantly talking about like how great Jeff Goldblum was, and I was there like, the implications of that when Wicked for Good is coming out this year, like it just felt crazy to me. Next, I watched Tick Tick Boom. Lin-Manuel Miranda, I love him. I have been a big fan of Hamilton since I was 15 years old. I was on the front line trying to defend it when people said it was weird. Okay, I was like, how is a musical which is just rapping about the founding fathers, like how is that weird? How is that weird? But this film is based on Jonathan Larson, who was the writer of Rent, the musical, and it's based on him turning 30, and it made me so hyper aware of how scared I am to turn 30. But it's based on him and his life, and he's trying to write these plays, and he's basically having like a breakdown because he's like, none of my plays have taken off. They've been picked up by no one. He's working in this diner. He's with his girlfriend, but his girlfriend's kind of getting a bit sick of him. It stars Andrew Garfield and Vanessa Hudgens and also Alexandra Shipp. I rated it 3 stars, which kind of seems a bit stingy, but 3-star films, please do not get confused. A 3-star film is like smack bang in the middle. It's a good film. I enjoyed it. It just doesn't, I think a 3-star film is when I watch a film and I'm like, this film is not gonna like stay with me for very long. And it didn't. I watched it and I was like, that was a good film. And then I left, you know, I left the theater. Well, I left my best friend's living room, you know, it just didn't like stay with me, but I thought it was a great story. I thought that it looked nice and you could really tell his mindset. And I thought that Andrew Garfield did a great performance because I was like, damn, this is Andrew Garfield. Like, that's crazy. He learned to sing for the part. Like, it was good. I enjoyed it. I just didn't love it. Like, I just thought it was a fun film. I don't even know if fun's the right word. It's just like a fun, like, well, I just said it again, so maybe it is a fun film, but just like a little reminder of like, you know, you don't have to have everything sorted out when you're 21. You have time. Do you know what I mean? Me saying that and I'm like, I'm 24. I'm literally so old. Next, I saw A House of Dynamite. They were showing this in my cinema before it went on to Netflix. It's got a pretty stacked cast. It is right, cool. It's a pretty stacked cast, and I can't remember who's in it. It was a fine film. I rated it 3 stars. It's got Idris Elba. It's got Rebecca Ferguson. It's got Greta Lee. They put Greta Lee on like the main like poster, and she's literally in it for less than 5 minutes. It was like a fine film. It's basically all about there's a singular missile heading towards the US, and then like everyone is trying to work out what to do. They're trying to send something to try and like, I say something, I should know more before I speak about it, but like they've got like the army on it and they've got people trying to send missiles back at it and like all this shit, and it doesn't work, and it's still coming towards the US, and it's gonna like wipe out all of Chicago or something. And so they have all of the government working on it. Idris Elba plays the president. Like, it's just, it was fine. It was very tense. It was very stressful, and the ending was so ambiguous, and I don't like that. I don't like it having to be up to me to decide the ending, because you've written the film. I'm just here to watch it. You know what I mean? So the ending was a bit like, well, what now? And everyone was just sort of losing their shit. And it was like, isn't this literally your job to have like prepared for these circumstances? But, you know, whatever. Because I would be in the same boat. I'd be like, guys, I'm just gonna head out. You know, it was like, okay, real, but also terrifying that none of them knew what they were doing. Next, I watched A Corpse Bride, bruh. Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. This was a good film. I rated it 3 stars. It was not as good as The Nightmare Before Christmas. I really like The Nightmare Before Christmas, but it was still good. Basically, this guy is going to marry this woman because his family are poor and they need her money, but then it turns out that she's got no money either, and he's so nervous he cannot get his words out. They're like, leave flop, and then he goes and accidentally marries a corpse instead. That's literally it. And then he has to work out how to like divorce her, but then she's also like, how could you say that? You said you wanted to marry me. And he's like, how could you be so stupid? I never wanted to marry you. And it's basically just like flop city, and then everything turns out fine. That is the Corpse Bride for you. And it was fine. I went to see it in the cinema because they were showing it for Halloween. It was fun, and there was a lot of children, and it was hard to focus, but that's not their fault. That's my brains. So yeah, it was fine. It was a fine film, and yeah, again, 3 stars. I enjoyed it. It was nice. Colors, very autumnal, very dark, very blue. It was fine. Please, take my word for it. I then watched The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I've never seen this before, but I've seen clips of it. Obviously, Steve Carell. I love Steve Carell. Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen again. Sorry, I am on a Seth Rogen kick. Leslie Mann, Elizabeth Banks, Catherine Keener. Like, I love Leslie Mann, and I do love Elizabeth Banks as well. It was directed by Jude Apatow, so you know it's going to be a funny one. It was really funny. It was such an easy watch. I was watching it and I was like, this shit, like, it is pretty funny. It's so painfully 2005. I say that about any film that's like before 2020. I'm like, this film is so painfully 2005, but it is. The look of the film, the quality of it. Basically, it follows Steve Carell's character. He is this 40-year-old guy. He works at this electronics store. It's got Jane Lynch, sorry. But to mention, I love Jane Lynch. He works at this electronics store. All of his guy friends, they're all talking one night, and then they realize that he's a virgin, and their whole mission is to help him fuck. basically. And it follows the story of that, and it goes in literally every direction you couldn't ever think of. Like every time you think, oh, maybe he's about to lose it, some weird shit happens. And the ending is great. It's got The Age of Aquarius, which I love that song. And I really liked it. I just thought, again, it was a 3-star. It was like a perfect light-hearted film that you could put on and you're just like, this is ridiculous, but in the best possible way. I enjoyed it. And I'd watch it again. You can put that on the record. I then watched Bad Teacher. I'm a big fan of Cameron Diaz. I can't lie. I do really like her. It's also got Justin Timberlake, got Lucy Punch, it's got Jason Segel. It's got a lot of like big names in it, and it is very funny. It is a very funny film. When I watched it, I was like, I'm not going to rate this highly. I did really enjoy that film. It's about Cameron Diaz's character is a teacher. She thinks that she's leaving the job because she's going to marry this rich guy. Her fiance's mother sees through her. The engagement gets called off. She then has to go back to working in this job, and she basically just wants to marry rich so that she doesn't have to work. She starts thinking about getting a boob job. It's so far-fetched. It's so weird. She is not a good person. She is not a good teacher, but it's hilarious. And it basically just follows the story of like how far she'll go, and then it's sort of like conflict resolution, and then it's done, and it has a great ending. And I really liked it. Again, very easy watch. I would put it on again in the background when I was doing something else and just be like, ha, and then like, you chime in every so often and you're like, oh, that's really funny. I really liked it. Sue me. Don't do that. I have no money. Okay, now we're getting on to like more new releases. No, we're not. No, we're not. Funny I said that, because no, we're not. Then I watched The Smashing Machine. I rated this 3.5 stars. I am a big fan of Josh and Benny Safdie's films. I love the way they look. I always love the directing style. I really liked Uncut Gems. I watched Good Time this month, which I'll get into. Like, I really like their stuff. And when I saw the trailer for The Smashing Machine, I was like, oh, I think I'm really going to enjoy this. Dwayne Johnson just transforms into Mark Kerr. Like, it's crazy. And I love Emily Blunt as well. And I think she played such a good role in this film. It fell flat for me. I don't really know why. I loved the look of it. I loved the colours. I loved the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack was really good. I don't know where it sort of fell flat for me. I just was a bit like, maybe because I don't care about UFC that much. It's a real story, so obviously you can't like hate it because the writing's bad, because it's actually someone's life. And I think the commitment to the role was amazing. Like the styling, the hair, the makeup, everything, so good. The sets, so good. But I don't know, it was just like a good film. I think I went in expecting that I'd rate it like 4 or 4.5 because the trailer was so good, but then I also think that's the downfall of it, because the trailer gave away too much. Like, you basically found out everything in the trailer, which is a huge problem. I think trailers are too revealing nowadays. You get way too much from the trailer, which is why I do like going into a film not having seen the trailer. But because I'm at the cinema so often, I see every single trailer ever. I see trailers for films that I'm never going to watch. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to escape them. But yeah, I just kind of felt a bit like, I feel like I could have guessed what would have happened without seeing the actual film. But I'm glad I did see it, and I did enjoy it. And like I said, 3.5, basically a 4. It's just I can't commit to giving it a 4 because my 4 ratings, my 4 ratings on Letterboxd are already too high. You know what I mean? I then watched Roof Man. Now, I really enjoyed this film. It starred Channing Tatum and Kristen Dunst, based on a true story. It's about a man who is on the run because he escapes prison when he has been arrested for armed robbery. So he's not a great guy, obviously, but he does it for his family. He's on the run, and then he starts living in a Toys R Us. Okay, that is like the premise of the film, and it just follows his time living in Toys R Us. He meets someone who is Kristen Dunst, not in real life, obviously, she plays the character, and it's all about him living in Toys R Us and the story that follows. It is so heartwarming, so tender. I think I really went into it expecting it to be quite funny because that's how the trailer portrayed it. Again, I do think the trailer was a bit revealing, but actually it was so heartwarming. It's all about like how far people go for their family, sort of the trauma and like the fallout of being in the military. It also had Lakeith Stanfield and Juno Temple in it, which I really like both of those actors. It was fun. It was very heartwarming. I didn't expect to be like, wow, this is so emotional, but it was really good. I think the pacing was good as well. It was over 2 hours long, but it didn't feel that long, which again, always a plus, because a film that's long and feels long, there is just nothing worse. Another new release I saw after The Hunt. I really liked this film. I rated it 3.5 again. I don't know why I didn't give it 4. I think just because it felt a bit long, and also like some of the plot points I was like, gag, but that was kind of in a good way. But it was directed by Luca Guadagnino. Is that how you say his name? I hope so. I don't know. But I really enjoyed this film. I'm a huge fan of Julia Roberts, like mega. My mum is a huge fan of Julia Roberts. My mum is who I went to see it with. It's also got Andrew Garfield in it, Io Edobridi. It's got Michael Stuhlbarg, Chloe Sevigny. It's got a stacked cast. And the premise of the film is basically Julia Roberts is a lecturer at a university, and so is Andrew Garfield. Events transpire where he is accused accused of sexual assault, and it just follows the story of how that plays out, how everyone takes their own stance on it. And obviously Luca Guadagnino is a director of Call Me By Your Name, and he's also the director of Queer, which are two of my favorite films. Call Me By Your Name is obviously in my top 4. I love that film so unbelievably much, so I thought I would be a fan of this, and I really liked it. I think a lot of people were like, oh, this didn't sit right with me, but I thought it was quite a real representation of how these sort of things transpire, especially in that sort of environment where it's like everyone's like, oh, it's your word against theirs, and how people react to it. They take their own stance on it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film, and I would recommend watching it. It was quite long. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and there were parts of it that felt quite slow, but it was one of those films where it felt like even the slow moments had purpose and they added up. My mum said the beginning felt very slow, but I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like it was like perfectly setting up the dynamic of the group and of everyone in their own place. I don't know. And it felt like the small parts all trickled into the bigger plot. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was really good. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. I then watched The Hangover Part 2. I gave this film 3.5 stars. It's a great film. It's not quite the Hangover 1, but nothing ever will be. Mourning Bradley Cooper's old face. Love, capital L, love Ed Helms. Such a big fan of him. He is one of my favourite characters in The Office. I've been rewatching The Office a lot. Andy is one of my favourite characters. Great comedic timing. I really liked the whole film. I thought it was fun. And also Jamie Chung being in it. So funny to me because all I remember her as is the fucking bitch from Princess Protection Program. I saw her and I was like, God, you are stunning. I then watched Boogie Nights. Huge fan of Paul Thomas Anderson. Absolutely love him. Phantom Thread is my favourite film of his that I've seen. I've seen Boogie Nights, I've seen Punch Drunk Love, Phantom Thread, One Battle After Another. Phantom Thread is my favourite of those that I've seen so far, and I will talk about One Battle After Another. But Boogie Nights was really fun. It felt very long, but like in a fun way. It just felt like a never-ending party. Even when like shit was going down, I was like, this just feels like a fun party. Julianne Moore was amazing in it. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. He is one of my favourite actors. Don't even get me started about the fact that he's no longer with us. Love the film. Mark Wahlberg, that was like his breakout role, which I saw the funniest review of this film. I also love John C. Reilly and I love Heather Graham. I always love whatever she's performing in. Someone's review was, I genuinely cannot stop laughing because Mark Wahlberg recently said that he hopes God forgives him for this movie, and Julianne Moore said he should thank God for Boogie Nights because it made his career. That is so funny to me. The film was great. I watched it with my friend Alan. It was so fun. I loved the look of it. I loved the feel of it. The first party scene was just so incredible. All the characters were great. Great writing, and the fact that Paul Thomas Anderson did that at 24. Are you joking? Just great film. Absolutely stacked cast. Mark Wahlberg, Burt Reynolds, Julianne Moore, John C. Reilly, Heather Graham, Don Cheadle, Philip Seymour Hoffman, William H. Macy, Thomas Jane. It was just crazy. I really enjoyed the film. It was one of those films I saw when I was scrolling through Paul Thomas Anderson's filmography and I was like, oh, I need to watch that. And then Alan was like, I have it on Blu-ray, so I just went and watched it and I really enjoyed it. It was a great film. Speaking of Paul Thomas Anderson, I watched One Battle After Another, which obviously was huge. It was huge. It was the highest grossing film that he has made so far. I think the box office, it was $198 million. Obviously, it was starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Chase Infinity, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, Tiana Taylor, Wood Harris. It had Alana Haim in it. It had a stacked cast, and it was a very good film. Now, I rated it 4 stars, okay? And I feel like I have to defend myself here because everyone that watched this film before I did rated it 5 stars. And then everyone that watched this film after I did rated it 5 stars. Everyone I follow on Letterboxd pretty much has rated it 5 stars. It was a great film. I love Paul Thomas Anderson. I love his mind. The fact that he's married to Maya Rudolph just makes me love him even more. I thought it was amazing. And it basically, the whole film follows a revolutionary group called the French 75. They break into camps where they're holding immigrants. They do these huge plots. They basically just say fuck you to the right? They basically just say fuck you to all the absolute twats on the far right, and Leonardo DiCaprio and Tiana Taylor are like together. Basically, the whole thing is it goes wrong and they have to disembark, and then years later, the guy that was sort of haunting them in the first place, Tiana Taylor's character and Leonardo DiCaprio's character specifically, he comes back and they're basically on the run, and they say it's one battle after another, and it's very stress inducing, but it is so entertaining. It's such a good film, such a good storyline, and what I really admire about that film is how brave it is. When I see a film like that, which is basically being like, up the revolution, fuck you to the right, it feels huge in this day and age and what's going on at the moment. And I loved Benicio del Toro in it. I don't know why I didn't rate it 5 stars. Maybe because I went into it being like, this is a 5-star film, and then I felt like a bit like, oh, I don't feel like I want to rate it 5 stars, which is another thing that's hard when you go into a film after seeing so many good reviews and ratings on Letterboxd about it. You feel like it's kind of hard to form your own opinion, but I did really like it, and I think if I rewatched it, I would rate it 4.5 because I have thought about that film a lot since I last saw it. And Leonardo DiCaprio plays a good part in it. He was great, very funny. His comedic timing was great in it, and it felt very much like you were in it with them. It was very compelling. It didn't feel that long either because this film was 2 hours and 50 minutes long. It was a long film, but it didn't feel like that. And the chase scene at the end where they're going over these hills, where it literally signifies like one battle after another, it was crazy. Sean Penn's limp, nuts. It was a good film and I really enjoyed it. It is so bittersweet that Leonardo DiCaprio played that character and he is who he is as a person. Like, you are building a hotel in Israel. Please don't get me started. And it did make me laugh, the tweet being like, he chose that country because it's the youngest of all of them. You did make me laugh. I then watched Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere. I rated this 4 stars. I think Jeremy Allen White did such an amazing job playing Bruce Springsteen. I was transfixed. I love Bruce Springsteen's music. Oh my god, his singing, he sounds so like him. I think it is so impressive. I really enjoyed it. I don't know what it is. It just felt so heartwarming, and I don't know, I'm a big biopic fan. Don't even get me started on the Michael Jackson trailer that I've seen and I've watched maybe 3 million times already, but I just really enjoyed this film. Stephen Graham, Jeremy Strong, and Jeremy Allen White. Great. Like, I loved it. I just thought it was a beautiful film. And when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh, it kind of just looks like Jeremy Allen White in brown contacts. But when I was watching it, I literally forgot it was him. It follows Bruce Springsteen on the back of him coming off of like this huge world tour, and they're like sort of pushing for him to write another record so that he can like keep capitalizing on his stardom. And it just sort of shows the mental strain it takes on him, and he revisits his childhood a lot and his relationship with his parents, and then he writes the album Nebraska, which is just huge, and then he goes off of Nebraska to write Born in the USA, which is like one of the best-selling albums. He's written 12 best-selling albums. Like, it's crazy to me. I really can't tell you how much I enjoyed this film, and what made me really sad is that so many people said they didn't like it and they thought it was boring. With me, I will defend a biopic because I'm like, you can't expect it not to be boring. It's literally someone's life. Like, they're just basing it off of someone's life, you know? I really liked it. I think it's worth the watch. If you find it boring, don't hate me, because I did tell you that people said it was boring. So I watched Good Time. Like I said, I like the Safdie brothers films a lot. They directed this together. It stars Robert Pattinson. Oh my god, I can't tell you how good looking that man is in that film. Oh my, the blonde hair. Basically, it follows 2 brothers, which are played by Robert Pattinson and Benny Safdie. They are little criminals, and then basically one of their crimes go wrong. Benny Safdie gets sent to prison, and then it's basically the story of Robert Pattinson trying to get him out. It is so stress-inducing. It's high intensity, but it's, oh my god, it's amazing. Such high payoff, huge twists and turns in the film. Just so good, and I loved the ending, which is never something I normally say, because normally the ending is where a film loses me. The ending was so good, and it was really heartwarming to see the other brother's perspective. So good. Oh my god, I loved that film. I watched it with my cousin at my house. I've been meaning to watch that film for a while because I heard that it was one of Timothée Chalamet's favorite films, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Robert Pattinson was acting his ass off in that film. It just was so good. I loved it. If you haven't seen it, I would really recommend watching it. It's just a very, like, I wouldn't say it's an easy film to watch because you kind of have to be like there, like very present watching it, but then like there's so much payoff from being so close because you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? So good. I don't know how they come up with these premises for the films. Don't even get me started on Marty Supreme. I'm so excited for that film. And the last film that I watched for the first time this month was Empire Records. This was just like, I was like, oh, it's a 90-minute film. It looks like it'll be pretty good. Let me watch it. Oh my god, I loved that film. I rated it 4.5. I really liked that film. I don't know why. It kind of gave me the same energy as Dazed and Confused, which I also rated 4.5 because I love that film. That film has some big names in it. It's got Liv Tyler, it's got Johnny Whitworth, it's got Renee Zellweger. That film is great though. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. I love the music. I love the style. It's got Rory Cochrane in it, and he was in both Dazed and Confused and Empire Records. Basically, these bunch of kids work in a record shop and it's at risk of turning into like a chain store, and they're trying to save the shop. And then you just kind of get a dose of everyone's life, what everyone's going through, what everyone's past is, their traumas, like their worries, their future. And like it just all blends into one, and it's 90 minutes. It's such an easy film to watch. I really enjoyed watching it. I would definitely recommend seeing it if you haven't already. I'm pretty sure sure it's on Netflix. I really liked it. I thought it was great. I had to leave. I had to have some lunch. I was so hungry. My stomach was making ungodly noises, but now I'm back and I'm ready to speak about our next category, my rewatches of the month. Scooby-Doo 2. Masterpiece. I rated this 3.5. When I first rewatched this, I didn't rate it because I didn't know what to give it. But when you compare it to Scooby-Doo 1, which is possibly the best film of all time, it is in my top 4 on Letterboxd. I love that film more than words can say. It doesn't fall to the same standard. It's one of those films where it's like, you were never going to beat the OG. You're never going to be the original. But it was still a great film. I was still gagged. They had great animatronics, gagatronics. The cast is like one of the best casted films ever. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr. Is that how you say it? Linda Cardinelli, Matthew Lillard, and then Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Like, you can't compete when you don't compare. The casting is amazing, and the whole film is Scooby-Doo 2. It's called Monsters Unleashed. It's all about they're going to this, Alicia Silverstone is in it as well. Silverstone. They're going to this museum where they've got all of the ghosts and the monsters that they've ever defeated in this museum, and then all of a sudden, bish bash bosh, they come to life, and they kind of have to work out what has happened, where this has all come from, you know, the whole spiel. And it's, you know, it's Mystery Inc. They're on their shit. Like, it's gonna be a good time. It doesn't compare to Scooby-Doo 1 because it's a different level. Like, Scooby-Doo 1, it may be the best film that's ever been made, but it was still a great time. I went to rewatch it. I watched Scooby-Doo 1 and Scooby-Doo 2. I did a double bill at the Prince Charles Cinema in London. It was amazing. Alan got me it for my birthday. It was so good. I'm gonna talk about Scooby-Doo 1, but that is in biblical unspoken 5-star classics. It's in a different category, babe. Just wait. I then rewatched Despicable Me. No explanation needed. I love the Despicable Me films. I love the Minions. I have a Swarovski Minion up there. I have a crocheted Minion over there. I have a Minion clock over there. I have a Minion hoodie. I will probably get a Minion tattooed on my body permanently. I love the Minions. I don't know why I feel so maternal towards them, but I do. I cried during Despicable Me. It's heartfelt, and it's just like, it's fun. And obviously in the first Minion film, it is like a cult classic. They're trying to steal the bloody moon. Like, you can't write it. Will Arnett voices someone in it, I'm pretty sure. Will Arnett voices Mr. Perkins. I knew that I got that right. But Steve Carell voicing Gru, obviously that's history. I love Steve Carell. I just love that film. I feel so maternal towards the Minions. I love them. It's a masterpiece. Like, it's just so fun as well. Like, some films, some animated films, I'm like, this is garbage. This is bullshit. Despicable Me, I couldn't say that because I love it. I didn't rate Despicable Me. I just hearted it because I didn't feel like I could give it an accurate rating. Maybe I'd give it 5 stars. Like, there's nothing wrong with that film in my eyes. Sorry about it. I then rewatched Oz the Great and Powerful. Now, if you've not seen this film, I feel like so many people think this film is dog shit because it low-key kind of is, but in like a great way. James Franco plays the Wizard of Oz, and then the 3 witches are Michelle Williams, Mila Kunis, and Rachel Weisz. Did I say that wrong? Probably Rachel Weisz. MILF! Like, it, oh my day. That film just feels like so much fun. Joey King voices this little China girl, and she's broken to bits. Like, she is broke. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, but she needs fixing. She is broken to bits. I always forget that Joey King, there is a chance that she will low-key be there in a bad film. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's what she does best. Like, don't get me started on Uglies. My film review of the year, my yearly film review, Uglies, prepare yourself because you're about to get shat on so hard. So hard. I just think it's a fun film. I rate it 3 stars, okay? James Franco plays an egotistical asshole very well. Narcissist, and I just liked it. Okay, it's basically just a story of like this con man magician. He flies away in the Twister, and then he ends up in Oz, and everyone's like, he's our wonderful Wizard of Oz, and he's like, no, I'm not. But then he realizes that if he is, he gets a fuck ton of gold, and he's like, yes, I am. And then he basically just tries to pull off this like huge prank. That's basically it. It's like the Wizard of Oz, but like a little bit different. Same but different vibe. I liked it. Okay, fucking sue me. A bit long though. It's like 2 hours. Didn't need to be that long. Come on, it's just like a spin-off. We don't need to make it 2 hours. Do you know what I mean? The Other Woman. I love this film. Cameron Diaz, Leslie Mann, and I think Kate Upton. Oh, and that fuck-ass guy from Game of Thrones. What's his name? Nicolaj Costa-Waldau? Nicolaj Costa-Waldau? Is that how you say his name? I don't want to be saying it wrong, but that's how I'm reading it. It's also got Nicki Minaj in it. So random. That film, absolute cinema. Oh my god. I've rated it 3.5 stars, but realistically I'd rate it 5 because that film is so goated. The scene at the end where he walks into the conference room, that is literally poetry. That is cinema. Like, that has been clipped on TikTok so many times, which is how you know you've done something good. because oh my god, that film, I love it. I love it. It's funny. It's all about being a girl, and like that is the original Hey Girl DM, but it's not a DM. It's literally played in real life. Like you can't. I love that film. I will rewatch that film whenever I'm feeling a little bit like meh. I don't really feel like bueno. I will rewatch that film because it always just cheers me up. You know, I love it. I love that film. God, I love that film. I also rewatched Wizards of Waverly Place, the movie, and also Wizards of Waverly Place, Alex vs. Alex. Alex vs. Alex gets 2.5 stars. The movie gets 3. You know, Disney Channel acting is never gonna be as good as you remember, but they're fun films. Like 90-minute wonders. Also, like I was obsessed with Wizards of Waverly Place growing up. It was my favorite show. I loved it. I used to keep a pencil in my boot. Like she keeps a wand in her boot. It's so good. The movie is when they go on this family holiday and she fucks up as always, and like she makes her parents forget who they are, which is like highly stressful. Watching that back as a child, I was like, oh my god, please don't let this happen to me, because evidently magic is real because I'm keeping a pencil in my fucking boot from Next. But I loved that film. I thought it was so fun. And then their little like adventure to go and get the Stone of Dreams. Oh, are you lying? That's cinema. And then Alex vs. Alex was kind of a flop, but I did kind of like how it was like set in Rome. Okay, Rome. Is it Rome? The Leaning Tower of Pisa is in Rome, right? But she also had like some cool ass hair. I loved the evil Alex. I was like, oh, okay. And I also loved her bedroom in Wizards of Waverly Place. Alex Russo's bed frame. Oh, gorgeous. Yeah, I rewatched them because I was on Disney Plus and I was like, I need something that's going to be like mind numbing so I don't have to think about how anxious I am. And it served its purpose. So, and then last in my rewatch categories, I rewatched Pitch Perfect 2. I rated this 3.5 stars. Sinners, I said this is my Letterboxd review. Sinners did such a good job of reinventing Hailee Steinfeld because I'd almost forgotten, oh my god, the cringe levels that she hit in the riff-off scene. David Cross, my king, is there. I can't even tell you how bad that scene is. Like everyone knows where they were when they watched the Pitch Perfect 2 riff-off scene for the first time. Like they know the state of shock their body went into. It was awful, okay? So Sinners really did a good job. But apart from that riff-off scene, that film is goated. I think Pitch Perfect 2 gets too much hate, okay? Elizabeth Banks directed it. So good. Some of the jokes, so problematic. You know, the joke about it gives hope to girls everywhere that they can turn to a cappella if they're not pretty enough to be a cheerleader. Awful. The way he delivers it, hilarious. So funny. I loved the storyline. I love when they go off to that retreat where Aubrey is, and I love the ending. When they're oh my god, when they're in the very sunny, very beautiful Copenhagen and they're singing with all the other Bellas, that's history. That scene makes me cry every single time. Every single time. Ben Platt playing a straight man who's interested in Hailee Steinfeld. That is cinema. And Bumper, I love Bumper. Oh my god, I literally can't even tell you how much I love that film. It is so good. Pitch Perfect 2 is so good. That riff-off scene, I mute it, okay? That's the only... That knocks it down the 1.5 stars that it would take to be a 5-star film. But it's so essential. Like, it's part of the culture. That's part of history. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't take it away. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh awayeth. But you cannot take away that scene because it's integral. It's an integral part of Pitch Perfect 2. I know that Hailee Steinfeld watches that back and shivers. The last category before my top 3 films of the month is my unspoken biblical 5-star classic rewatches. No one can touch this. This is absolute cinema. Nothing will ever change my mind on these films. Love. L-O-V-E. Love. Okay? Every film is 5 stars, okay? Don't question it. First, Pitch Perfect. That film, like I said, I've got a lot of love for Pitch Perfect 2, so you can only imagine how much love I have for Pitch Perfect 1. That film is history. It's so good. A girl that goes to college, she wants to be a DJ, she makes these absolutely fucking crazy mashups, and then she just joins an a cappella group. It's the most random amalgamation of women you've ever seen, and they all just sound great, and they have this crazy choreography, and there's someone called Fat Amy, and then there's the fucking treble makers, and the word toner. Excuse me. Like, that is the closest we've ever been to perfection as a society. It's so good. Pitch Perfect, I literally could watch it every day. That's how I feel. Anna Kendrick really used to annoy me in it because I was like, oh my god, get over yourself, girl. But like, she is not like other girls. Like, she is the blueprint for not being like other girls. Skylar Austin. It's Brittany Snow. Are we joking? I love that film. I literally, again, one of those films that if I put it on, I can't be upset. I can't be in a bad mood because it's so funny. It's so good. If I meet someone that's like, oh, I don't like Pitch Perfect, I'm like, oh, Why? I feel very passionately about that film, and it's only going to get worse because the next one was The Cat in the Hat. I love that film. That film was in my top 4 favorites for so long before I started watching films, because I didn't watch films before. It's been like a long time coming. I never used to watch films. I was more of a TV person because of my attention span, and then I got a boyfriend who loves films, and I was like, oh, I should probably watch. And no, actually, I got a boyfriend that loves films, didn't start watching films, then we broke up and I was trying to win him back, so I started watching films. Cat in the Hat is one of my favorite films of all time. It's so good. I remember it so vividly from my childhood. I know a lot of people were scared of it. I loved it. I've always loved it. I was scared of witches, but I wasn't scared of Cat in the Hat. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's so stupid. It's so far-fetched. And that's probably why I like it. There is a cat with a literal hat, and he just comes out of nowhere and like ruins everything and then fixes it. Dakota Fanning's little checklist, the thing she writes a checklist on, she's like, today's to-do list. I was gagging for one of those growing up. I love that film. It is one of my favorite films. It's such a comfort film. It's only 90 minutes. I love the look of where they live. I don't love Alec Baldwin, but he was a great choice for the cast. I just think if you acted in that, like, no one can touch you. That's royalty. Like, if you've got Cat in the Hat under your belt as an actor, you've completed it. That's acting royalty to me. Like, move along. Next, Scooby-Doo 1. Like I said, I rewatched Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2 at the Prince Charles Cinema. Literally amazing watching it with so many other people, so that like you can hear people's like live reaction to like finding things funny. Like, the people yearn for Community. Like, sitting in a full screen, it was a full screen of people and everyone's just laughing at jokes. Like, that's Hope Court, okay? And Scooby-Doo 1 2002, Scooby-Doo live action 2002. That film means so much to me. Like I've said, it's in my top 4. You know, the premise of it, they go to Spooky Island because weird things are happening when the students leave Spooky Island. Why they didn't make it into a real amusement park, I don't know. And then they find out all this crazy shit, and then all this stuff got cut from it, like the lesbian kiss, Fred is definitely gay, Shaggy and Scooby are like confirmed stoners. But even with all of the juicy boot stuff cut, it is such a magnificent film. The colours, the set, everything, the one-liners, the shot of Scooby-Doo seeing the picture of himself in Emil Mondavarius' office and then just completely copying the pose, that is cinema. Oh, I'm looking for clues. Here's a clue. Purple's a fall colour. It's the middle of May. Oh my god, you cannot compete when you don't compare. Again, I think it's like 90 minutes long. That is how you do a film. Great script, great one-liners, great costume, great makeup and hair, great set design, great everything. And it's 90 minutes. It's a 5-star from me. I'm not being funny, like. You can't mess with a masterpiece. Speaking of, I rewatched Mamma Mia. Again, this is in my top 4 favourites. I love this film. Very, very strong feelings towards Meryl Streep. I love her. This is, again, I have a list on Letterboxd of perfectly casted films. Mamma Mia is like top because that is such a well casted film. Colin Firth, Pierce Brosnan, Bill Skarsgård, Meryl Streep, Christine Baranski, Julie Walters, Amanda Seyfried, Dominic Cooper. The list goes on. It's such a good film. If you don't know the story of Mamma Mia, I fear that I'm not the person to tell you. It's just literally the most fun film. There's so many parts of it that make me cry, Slipping Through My Fingers being the main one, but actually I think the part I find the most emotional is the dancing queen scene, where every woman is just like, let me go dance, let me go remember what it's like to be 17. They're either working, they're there on holiday, they're having fun, they're having dinner, and they're just like, fuck off to the men, and they go and dance with Meryl Streep. How does it feel to live my dream? Can't tell you how much I love that film. I love it so much. Great ending, and then they ruined it with Mamma Mia 2. But then when I watch Mamma Mia, I'm just like, this is all that happens. Don't even get me started on the fact that they're making a Mamma Mia 3. Don't mess with a masterpiece. How much clearer can I say it? And my last film of the month, and my last film of the unspoken 5-star biblical no one can touch this classic, is Donnie Darko. I watched that film for the first time last year, and I really liked it. Spoiler alert, I'm a huge fan of Jake Gyllenhaal. Prisoners is one of the best films of all time in my opinion. Best thriller film that I've ever seen. It used to be in my top 4 until I started watching more films. Donnie Darko was in my favorites for a while as well, because that film is just, I don't even know what it is about the film. I just really like the look of it. I like the story. I like how it's sort of like a circular storyline. I like the acting. I like the costumes. I like everything about it. I just think it's really like, I don't even know if fun's the right word. Basically, Donnie Darko is this teenager and he's having these hallucinations of a rabbit figure who is telling him to do these awful things, which he does. And everything he does sort of comes to a head on Halloween, and then you sort of see it play out. And it's got Ashley Tisdale in it, and it's got the guy that plays Spencer from iCarly in it. It's got Drew Barrymore. It's got Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's such a good film. I really love Donnie Darko. When people told me to watch it, I was like, well, what's it really about? And it's kind of hard to explain, but it's so worth the watch if you haven't. I feel like some people don't like it because it's not very clear. Like, it's kind of a bit convoluted and a bit weird, but that's why it's so great. I don't know. And I'm pretty sure that was Jake Gyllenhaal's breakout role. He plays such a good character in it, and Jenna Malone is in it. And I watched The Hunger Games for the first time last year, and then after watching that later in the year, I watched Donnie Darko for the first time, and I watched it and I was like, I know you. Great film. 5 stars. 5 stars all round. That is everything I watched in October. I watched a lot of films in October. I'm nearing 200 films on Letterboxd this year. So the yearly review is going to be crazy because this has been long enough. I can't believe how long I've been filming for. My top 3 films for the month were Good Time. That was my top film. I really, really enjoyed that film. I couldn't stop thinking about it for days after I watched it. I just thought it was so clever, so well done. And was it impacted by how good looking I think Robert Pattinson is? Maybe, but I couldn't say for sure. Second is One Battle After Another. I know I rated this only 4 stars, but again, it had an impact on me. And like I said, I do think if I rewatched it, I would rate it higher than I have. But 4 stars is still pretty impressive. Like, I'm like a 3.5 star warrior these days, so 4 stars is still pretty good. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I do think I should change it to 4.5 because it had such an impact on me. And the story was just so good. The directing was amazing. Everything about the film, I really, really enjoyed. Soundtrack, so good. I forgot to say that I loved the soundtrack. Ready or Not, Dirty Work, Mo Bamba. Are you lying? Are you lying? And third was Empire Records. I know I rated that higher than One Battle After Another, but like that was just like a fun film that I enjoyed watching it. So I was like, oh my god, it's a 4.5 because it felt like a comfort film. It felt like a film I could just put on at any time. Whereas One Battle After Another, I'd have to like lock in to watch that because it's literally nearly 3 hours long. I feel like nothing I say makes sense. And on that note, there are a lot of films coming up this month that I'm very excited to watch. Die My Love, Wicked for Good, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, The Running Man, Nuremberg, Zootopia 2, Knives Out Mystery, Wake Up Dead Man. There are a lot of films that I'm looking forward to watching and a lot of new releases I've already watched. So I will see you next month for my November wrap up. If you've made it this far, God bless you. Let me know what your favourite film of October was. And I will see you next time for a vlog, a book club, exploring a haunted mansion. Who knows where the wind will take me, but I'll see you for something. Ciao! I'm so awkward with outros. Ciao for now. Bye!